Hi, it's Kit Allowitz. Welcome to Disciplined Selling Reinforcement and an assignment for you. As a reminder, most of us need to be reminded more than we need to be instructed. Thus, a chance for you to be reminded of some of the skills and concepts that you picked up and learned about in the Disciplined Selling program. The second thing is we tend to practice far less than we know. This is a chance for you to practice a little bit more of what you know on your road to becoming as disciplined and refined and as professional as possible in your selling skills. Today's lesson is entitled Exact Solution, and it falls within the framework of the order process. The order process coming from Mahan Khalsa, let's get real, let's not play. Order stands for ORDER. O is opportunity, R is resources, D is decision making, E, where we are today, the exact solution, and then R for results. Will they do more with us? So I'd like to read two statements from our handy dandy guide that you got in the program, the Disciplined Selling Participant Manual. And there's two concepts that really resonate as we're going to talk about enabling a decision. So the first one is a true or false question. True or false? Proposals don't sell, people do. Yep, that's probably true. And the other one for you to consider is that today, as we're moving from ORD of order to now E and R, it really marks the transition from inquiry, meaning seeking first to understand, to advocacy, making ourselves understood. And here's the really great part about the order process. It's just so conceptually easy to put your head around. It takes a lifetime of discipline and practice to get really good at it. But ORD, opportunity, resources, decision making, really is about you trying to understand what the customer is working on. And then you've got a solid understanding of what the customer wants. And then you move over to advocacy. Now it's time for you to make yourself understood. So as we talk about enabling, coming up with the exact solution, we're really just talking about one thing. And this is the one thing I'd like you to remember today. As you talk about an exact solution, which you might have been tempted from the very beginning to provide them, to throw up what it is that you think that you could provide, but you held off. You didn't take the marshmallow. You restrained yourself enough to this point where you've now earned the right to give them an exact solution that exactly meets their needs. And you do that by helping them enable a decision. Enable. And that's the one thing to remember in this section. Your job, once you go from inquiry to advocacy, is to help them actually enable a decision. That's why you wouldn't just spend all this time, then do a proposal, and then email it to them and wait for them to reply. You wouldn't do a half rear-end effort in terms of really preparing them for this step where they're going to actually get an exact solution. You're going to help them enable and make that decision. You remember from an earlier lesson, you got to make, in order for them to get to a decision, you have to make yes or no okay. So yes is okay decision if you want to go with me. No is a fine decision, but no decision is a decision and it's a bad decision. So this step is to keep them off the fence from not making a decision. And if you've done your due diligence and really been a master at understanding the opportunity, using SPEC, using the 5 golden questions, if you've been a master at R for resources and help them really get a solid understanding of time, people, and money, and if you paid the price to really hang in there on the decision-making process, and rather than ask them if you're the decision maker, instead of what are the steps you're going to go through to make this decision, then when you get to this point, it's almost, not always, right, and there's always competition, but you've got a solution that you've really differentiated yourself from the other players in the marketplace. Because the other players, tempted to take the marshmallow, are likely just quickly, at a very surfacey level, understand the opportunity, quote, and then hope the customer buys. You've taken a little bit more time on the front end, but the probability of a higher win rate is exponentially higher. Therefore, you're saving time rather than misusing your time, and spend your time chasing your tail, trying to go after opportunities that you are unclear about what they're doing, how they're making the decision, and who's making the decision. So the one thing for you to remember this week is when you get to this point where it's time to actually provide them a solution, you're enabling a decision by holding your ground, staying in there, being committed to doing whatever it takes, whether it means hand deliver the quote, whether that means hanging in there, whether it means using reciprocity to make sure that once they get the quote, they're going to do something with it, and you're clear about what it is they're going to do with it and the time frame on that. So I'd like you to practice this week with your accountability partner and with a customer, enabling a decision with the customer, showing high courage, not just quoting, but high courage to help them make a decision in their own best interest. I'm Kit Alowitz. I'm with Disciplined Selling, and we'll see you next time.